The bank's decision on all matters
I
concerning...
don't hold with signing my boy away to any bank as guardian.
I want you to stop all this nonsense,
The bank's
Jim.
decision on all matters concerning his education, his places of residence, and similar subjects is to be final.
The idea of a bank being the guardian.
I want you to stop all this nonsense, Jim.
We will assume full management of the Colorado load, of which I repeat, Mrs. Kane, you are the sole owner.
Where do I sign, Mr. Thatcher?
Right here, Mrs. Kane.
Anybody think I hadn't been a good
The
husband?
sum of $50,000 a year is to be paid to you and Mr. Kane as long as you both live, and thereafter to the survivor.
News on the march! As legendary as Florida's Xanadu, world's largest private pleasure ground. 100,000 trees, 20,000 tons of marble are the ingredients of Xanadu's mountain. Contents of Xanadu's palace. Paintings, pictures, statues, the very stones of many another palace. A collection of everything, so big it can never be catalogued or appraised. Enough for 10 museums, the loot of the world. Xanadu's livestock, the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, the beast of the field and jungle, 2 of each, the biggest private zoo since Noah. Like the pharaohs, Xanadu's landlord leaves many stones to mark his grave. Since the pyramids, Xanadu is the costliest monument a man has built to himself. No public man whom Kane himself did not support or denounce, often support, then denounce. Twice married, twice divorced. First to a president's niece, Kane married Susan Alexander, singer. For wife too, one-time opera singing Susan Alexander, Kane built Chicago's Municipal Opera House. Conceived for Susan Alexander Kane, half finished before she divorced him, the still unfinished Xanadu. Cost, no man can say. Kane, molder of mass opinion though he was, in all his life was never granted elective office by the voters of his country.
Wait a minute. What were Kane's last words? After Kane died, he said just one word.
Rosebud.
What do you want to know?
We thought maybe if we could find out what he meant by his last words as he was dying.
That Rosebud, huh? Maybe some girl. There were a lot of them back in the early days.
It's hardly likely that Mr. Kane could have met some girl casually and then 50 years later on his...
A fella'll remember a lot of things you wouldn't think he'd remember. This Rosebud you're trying to find out about.
Yes?
Maybe that was something he lost. Mr. Kane was a man who lost almost everything he had.
There's only one man who can rid the politics of this state of the... I am speaking of Charles Foster Kane, the fighting liberal, the next governor of this state.
With one purpose only, to point out and make public the dishonesty, the downright villainy of boss Jim W. Getty's political machine, now in complete control of the government of this state. I made no campaign promises, because until a few weeks ago, I had no hope of being elected. I'd make my promises now if I weren't too busy arranging to keep them.
I'm afraid we've got no choice.
This one?
That one.
You just want to persuade people that you love them so much that they ought to love you back. Only you want love on your own terms. It's something to be played your way, according to your rules.
Toast, Jedediah, to love on my terms. Those are the only terms anybody ever knows.
zone.
Rosebud? I tell you about Rosebud. Rosebud.
Mr. Kane was a man who got everything he wanted and then lost it. Maybe Rosebud was something he couldn't get or something he lost. I don't think any word can explain a man's life. No, I guess Rosebud is just a piece in a jigsaw puzzle. A missing piece.
Throw that junk. Rosebud.